Hari Om. Good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome. Please come. Let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipresent, and the Omnipotent, together with faith and devotion in our hearts, and a sense of complete surrender in our mind, together we all offer our Sastanga Pranams to you, to seek your grace, your mercy, your blessings, your love, your compassion, your forgiveness, your strength, Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya. O Lord, please bestow upon us all these divine qualities, only and only to understand thy true nature. And at the end of our lives, bless us that we reach your heavenly abode. Om Tat Sat. Today, we are on our Divine Discourse number 269 on the 11th of March 2022. Tatva Bodha, talk number 23. On this auspicious day of Friday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all make a firm resolve that whatever is happening to us in our lives through persons, places, objects, any situation, any circumstance, any incident, all this is only and only for the upliftment of my life. We accept everything as a prasad from the Divine Lord to bring me out of this ocean of births and deaths. Oh, that's it. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Hari Om. Good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. So today, I would say we are almost at the penultimate discourse on Tatva Bodha. Maybe if not penultimate, we could be one step before. So today we'll study what are the qualities of a Jeevan Muktah. And then comes the karma aspects. How does karma treat a Jeevan Muktah? And then the chapter closes accordingly. So we'll see how much we could cover on the characteristics of the Jeevan Muktah and take it forward. Now, I will go very slowly today. I will try to explain how the transformation happened from a Jiva to the state of a Jeevan Muktah. And I presume that that is the purpose we all are here to achieve in our lives. The main purpose of human life, or the main goal of human life, is to achieve that self-realization. And to achieve that self-realization, we are pursuing or studying the Shastras and the Upanishads. Apart from that, we are doing tremendous amount of sadhana. So, what is stopping us from understanding this true nature of ourself? It is just that little more grace from the Lord what we need. Knowledge is not difficult. See, when somebody says, you have put on weight, then you say, yeah, I realize that. Yes, what you say is true. I realize I have put on about 3 kilos. Now, what did you realize there? You realize that you have put on weight. Somebody says your skin is tanned. You say, I realize that. I was on a beach or something. You say, I was traveling. So this is also realization that your skin tone has changed. Your weight has changed. So you say, I realize. In the same way, there is nothing different from these ordinary words which we are used to and self-realization. There is nothing, no great difference. I'll tell you in simple words. That's all what we need to understand. You don't have to study the Shastras at great depth. You don't have to study the Upanishads in so much of detail. Just get the crux what we are going to talk today and stay with that knowledge. See, why do we need to study again and again, be in satsang is because this knowledge should not wither away. Today you have got this, but slowly it will go away. That is the power of Maya. So that's the reason the satsang and the continuous study of the Shastras, Ishvara Pranidhanani. You have to constantly keep studying the Shastras. That is the reason. So, now let me explain in simple words about self-realization. And what is the topic today? Jeevan Muktah. Who is a Jeevan Muktah? One who has realized the self. And what is the realization of the self? Is to understand your true nature. Now, let's start. we have understood ourselves as this person. I am a person, I have a name, I have a qualification, I have a status, a family status, I have a profession, I have a relationship, I have my possessions, and various other things. That's all what we know. If somebody asks, who are you? This is all what we are going to explain to them, correct? Now, when we say, I want to come out of this cycle of birth and death, what is the meaning of this? You are in a Jeevatma Bhava. What is the Jeevatma Bhava? Just now what we spoke, I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so. That is the Jeevatma Bhava, where you are attached to the Sthula Sharira, the body, the Sukshma Sharira, the mind, senses, your intellect, memory, and the Karana Sharira, which is the storehouse of all these tendencies. This is our body. We all understand this very clearly, that I have a mind, I have a memory, I have a body which I can feel, and I also have intelligence. Now, there is something behind this which is enlivening this entire conglomerate of body, mind and senses. Now, this is the fine distinction I am making. Please listen carefully. So, this body, mind, intellect, senses conglomerate, which I have thought to be, I also now know that there is a enlivening force behind all this, which is the reason why I am alive. The moment that force goes away from this body, mind, senses collapses totally. So what the Lord is trying to tell us here is, both the Jivatma means just now what we said, body, mind, senses conglomerate, and the Atma behind the Jivatma, which is giving this life, both are Anadi. Anadi means they are beginningless. They are there right from the beginning, and they continue to go in cycle. So, this Jivatma, because it does an action, it is bound to Papa and Punya, which are the results of the action. We will be studying in the next class. So, as a result of the action, it goes on encycling. Now you have done something good. The Lord says you have done something good because you did not accept my presence. You said, I am doing it. The Atma which is there, the Ishvara, the Paramatma which is there in you, you did not give any heed to that. You just said, I am doing everything. So he says, I bless you. You have done a good job. You will get Punya, and the result of Punya is Sukha, and I'll give you a life where you have pleasure. And also, if you have done something naughty, you will get Papa, and for that Papa, you will get a life where you have to suffer. So now with this Jnana, knowledge, what we have to understand, the subtle thing is, so far you were in this Jivatma Bhava. I am doing, I am listening, I am taking, I am giving, I am eating, I am enjoying, I am suffering. The Lord says, give up this and say and know for yourself that it is that Atma which is behind you, that is the truth, and this is ephemeral. It is subject to death. Just know this difference. That is self-realization. Knowing that you are not this body, and knowing that the Atman alone is everything. See, now if you read the Shastras directly, they'll say you are the Atman, you are the Paramatma, they'll say. I will not use those words because it did not help me in my study. I would advise you, just say, I am not this, all this what I am seeing. Now when I explain in detail, you will get the facts. I am not all this, but I am what I am. I am not this, and it is Paramatma and Paramatma alone who is everything in this entire creation. What is difficult in this? Tell me. This is all what we need to understand. This is that self-realization, meaning knowing your true self. That's all. And this is your true self. You are an illusion, trying to please all illusory people around you. In this world of illusion, with places, objects, people, don't take life too seriously. Everything is an illusion over here. That one and only truth is that Paramatma alone. If you get this and tell yourself again and again, what will happen? The first thing what will happen to you is your miseries will all go into the dustbin. Because you are not you. What are you? I am an illusion. And it is Paramatma alone who is the supreme truth. This is what we need to realize. Okay. Now, whether one is bound or liberated all depends upon what one sees about oneself or how one looks upon oneself. If you take yourself to be the Jivatma, that is the body, mind, senses, you are bound. If you know yourself to be that Brahman consciousness, you are liberated. You are getting this? If you are in the Jivatma state, you will continue to be as a Jiva, and if you know that this is all false, and if you move to the state of consciousness, you are liberated then and there. For how long? Till the time you have the thought. The moment you get into the Jivatma thought, you come back. So, it is not that when you take yourself to be Brahman or consciousness, it is not that Jiva is there. It is very important to know, because from the standpoint of pure consciousness, which we call it as Brahman, Atman, Purushottama, call it whatever name we can, from that standpoint, consciousness alone is the reality. Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvamityeti. Atma alone is the truth. Tadanyat, other than that, Sarvamityeti means everything else is an illusion. See, we have known God as a person. We have personified God. Okay, yes, when he takes an avatar, he comes in a human form and you can personify him. But remember, the true meaning of that God, that Atma, Paramatma, consciousness, it is a power. It is a power which moves the entire universe. When it is in a manifest form and when it is in an unmanifest form, you see nothing. So this Atma, it may look as though when we utter a statement, it all depends on where you place yourself. So if you look at yourself as that pure consciousness Brahman, whenever you think of yourself, don't think of yourself as a body, mind, consciousness and senses. You just think that there is consciousness in me, that Brahman. So at that point of time, the moment you are in this thought, that plurality, that ephemerality, what you see in this world, all that ceases to be real. Now, why do we say this? Because both Jiva, see now these are stunning statements. Both Jiva and Ishvara are apparent. When the only force consciousness is in it is unmanifest form, there is nothing visible. But when it comes into a manifest form, then what happens is everything becomes apparent. Apparent means probable or supposedly what we say, illusive, superficial, that way. So they don't deserve to be called as there. There meaning it is there, we say. It is there, it appears. A person is there today. Tell me, if he passes away, can you show me the next moment whether he is there? He is not there. So that's the reason they said supposedly he is there. Superficially he is there. If you understand in the true sense, although you say he is there, but he is illusively there. So they don't deserve to be known as real. They are just like a reflection, an apparent reflection. Now I'll give an example. A person is spending good amount of money. He goes for shopping, he comes back. He goes for holiday, he comes back. He buys a luxurious car, he buys a luxurious home. He's spending money like crazy. Now, how is he spending? He is using his credit cards. He is using his credit line with the banks. Now, all this what such a person does, you can call it as apparent. Because it is not his own strength. The moment the bank seizes his credit line, the moment the bank seizes his credit card, everything comes to a halt. So in the same way, we as a person, we are also living an apparent life because by our own strength, we are not able to do anything. We are dependent on the consciousness which is behind us. Just like that person who was spending left, right, center was depending on the credit card and the credit lines, even we are dependent on the Atman, the consciousness within us. So, when we say the water is real, the sun is real, no, all this, the reflection, yes, it seems slightly real. You may call it as apparent. In the sense, it does not have its own reality. Yes, we agree. It doesn't have its own reality. A reflection cannot exist apart from the source. Is it not a fact? Can you see a reflection without a source? So, what we need to understand here is what is the cause and what is the effect. So the cause is the Paramatma, the Atma, and the effect is the Jivatma, which is the body, mind, senses. So in Vedanta, when they give a creation theory, we all spoke about in Tatva Bodha, creation theory to a large extent. So if Vedanta were to explain creation, which we did, of course, so then it is no better than a class which teaches geography or physics or biology, botany, zoology, whatever it is. It's no better. But Vedanta teaches all this. The purpose is not to explain creation. The purpose is to show that these effects, what all you are seeing, are only apparent. The whole world is nothing but an appearance in Brahman, the Supreme Consciousness, the Supreme Paramatma. Like all the waves what we see in an ocean are an appearance in water. The waves are not true, the water is true. Water can exist without the waves, but the waves cannot exist without the water. As we see all ornaments are only an appearance in gold. How all utensils are only an appearance in clay. So, Vedanta takes this, all these elements. It takes Brahman with his Maya and it mixes up with the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas and explains the Sukshma Sharira, the Sthula Sharira, the Karana Sharira. And because of the Tamas and the Panchikarana and the potency with Maya, how this whole creation came into being. One Brahmanda, 14 worlds, 7 upward and 7 downward. Bhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala, one Brahmanda. Looking at all this, we are stunned. We are lost in awe, that admiration, at the expanse of the wisdom of the Rishis and the Creator. But we should not get lost in this admiration. What we need to understand is, understand only and only about the strength of that consciousness behind all this. There is nothing which is true other than this consciousness. Everything else is an appearance. This is all what we need to understand over here. So one is what? What we are trying to understand here. Jiva and Ishvara are both apparent. See, we all understand Ishvara, the Lord who has created this entire universe. Behind him, who is there? The Paramatma, pure consciousness, Brahman. Now with his potency, he created, with potency of Maya, he created Ishvara at the topmost level, and he created Jiva at the bottommost level. And among the 84 lakh species, Jiva is considered to be the topmost level of his creation. So he says, in the true sense, Jagadguru Shankaracharya says this, Jiva and Ishvara are all only time bound. We may have about 70, 80, 100 years of life. Ishvara has millions and billions years of life. Our strength is limited, his strength is enormous. We studied all about this. Then what do we get to understand from that sun and that bucket and that ocean and reflection, all this? What do we see here? What did we understand with all this? That Jiva and Ishvara are all appearing in Veshti and Samashti form. But what is the truth? The sun is the truth. So which means that Brahman, that the Paramatma, he is the truth. Just like that credit card. If you had your own money and you are spending, then you are not dependent on anybody. Nobody can block your line. But if you are living on a credit card, then it is an illusory life. Because anytime it can stop. So, everything is false except one, that is consciousness. This is that again and again we have to start telling ourselves. It started with consciousness with respect to Veshti, individual, Atma, and with respect to Samashti, totality, it was called Ishvara. Now after this detailed study we understood that Atman and Brahman. Atman is behind the Jivatma and Brahman is behind Ishvara. Jiva and Ishvara are reflection of the Atma and Brahman. So, this falsity we have to clearly get to our minds. Like say, what is this falsity? Like say, for example, you married somebody in your dream, some person, and morning when you meet that person, you behave as though you are his wife or you are her husband. Now, will it work? It was an illusion. It was only in that dream you had that, and you cannot bring it into reality. Same is our case. We have taken things too much beyond what we need to understand. So, all these names which we see are in the realm of falsity, which means till the time you are alive, like what all you see in the dream is till the time you wake up. In the same way, till the time you are alive, all these names, forms, objects, places, situations, everything are real to you. But the moment you pass away, nothing is there in front of you. All this is gone, just like this. Think about this. You don't need any great Shastra or knowledge to tell you. Yes, the moment you get up, whatever be the kind of dream you were dreaming, it all becomes falsity. It all was an appearance for some time. In the same way, when this jiva moves on, it leaves this body, then whatever you were experiencing in the world till that moment, everything becomes false. So this is the very crucial part what we need to understand over here. And I think we all have got this knowledge. Now another question comes, Now when we say that the ornament is there because of gold, this jiva is there because of that Atma or Paramatma. And when we know that gold alone is bangle, gold has become a bangle. And we say that there is no bangle, according to our theory what we are discussing, we are saying this gold alone is the truth, the bangle is an appearance, which means there is no bangle. And you say, I am able to see this bangle, this necklace, but we are saying it is apparent. To see something or to say that even something is apparent, it has to be seen. It has to be seen with your eyes. Then only you say this is true or this is false. Is this appearing or it is not there? But now what we mean to say over here is see with the eyes of knowledge. Jnana Chakshu. Just like this, when you see a bangle or a necklace or a bracelet, we are used to seeing that in objects. But here what the Shastra and the Guru is telling us is, see the gold behind the bangle, necklace or bracelet. When you see a jiva, see the Chaitanya Shakti behind. The Chaitana Shakti which is flowing in that person, because you're seeing him alive. So he says, once you get this knowledge, because what happens, many things are deceiving. For example, you put let's say in a glass beaker, you put a spoon, which is filled with water. How does it appear to you? The glass spoon appears bent. Now, did the spoon bend the moment you inserted it in the water? No. The bend is only apparent. Even though it is what you know that it is false, it has not actually bent itself. It is false. So the meaning of apparent is just that much. So everything is consciousness and consciousness alone. Now when we say body is seen, but body is false. Earth appears flat, but it is false. Earth is not flat. Sky appears blue, but that is also false. It is not blue. And there are some things which are not seen, but they are true. Like electricity, not seen, but it is true. Gravitational force, you can never see that, but it is true. You throw anything up, it will come down. We have black holes, they are not seen, but that power which takes galaxies and Milky Ways into it. Although they are not seen, that force, it is true. So, for something being seen is not the proof of its truth, and something not seen is not proof of its falsity. So the test of something, the truth of something is not perceptibility. The truth of something is not viability. This is what we just need to understand. So if you had to stand the test of reality, if you can stand that, then you're right. So here what happens, a Jnani, he is constantly seeing everything only from the point of view of that Chaitanya Shakti, which is running the entire universe. So this person who has known that consciousness alone is the driving force, the rest all is falsity, it is there for some point of time, he does not think himself to be an individual. Definitely not the body. See, for example, if you want to understand that this body is not permanent, I don't think any Shastra needs to tell us. We have seen that. We have seen so many people pass away. And we also, if we believe in the karma theory, then we know that there is a rebirth. And when rebirth happens, nobody comes with the same body. He comes with a different body. But he definitely comes with a different, in that same body, he comes with the same mindset, which is the Sukshma Sharira and the Karana Sharira. So in this way, to understand I am consciousness, that little faith is enough. And how we can develop this? Now we got this particular Atma Jnana. Now how can you make it a reality? Now let's study about that now. So we have the Mahavakyas in each and every Upanishad. All the 4 Vedas, which have given several Upanishads, they talk about a Mahavakya. Now this Mahavakya, Maha means actually big. But what do you see in a Mahavakya? You are seeing a small sentence. It could be 2 words or 3 words, that's all. Now, once and for all, when we meditate on this Mahavakya, this truth, whatever we have learnt, in that 2 or 3 word understanding, that constant repetition in your mind, that becomes a reality for you. Now Bhagavan Vedavyasa, he divided lakhs and lakhs of Upanishads into 4 broad streams. And in that stream, when he arranged each and every, Bhagavan Vedavyasa, he is not the composer of the Vedas. He only compiled, which were there distorted, he brought everything together. And when he made those 4 broad streams, from each and every Veda, he gave a Mahavakya. Now how does this Mahavakya help us? Now that we will try to understand. For example, now as we know, we started with Tattvamasi, Tat Tvam Asi. Now this is known as Vicharanatmaka. Vicharanatmaka means you inquire. See, somebody is lost. Now you want to find out. So you start inquiring. From where he left, you say, somebody says he went this way, you will start inquiring, you'll go there and you'll inquire, and there you'll get some inputs and you further go and inquire. So this Tattvamasi came from the Chandogya Upanishad of the Samaveda, which tells you, you inquire for yourself and see. Tat is that supreme consciousness. Tvam is this body-mind senses conglomerate in which you are. Both of you are one and the same when it says it is not from the literal meaning, the Vachyartha, literal meaning, but it is from the implied meaning. The essential meaning, what is it? The power between the Ishvara and the power between Tvam, which is the Jiva, both are one and the same. So now you started a different dimensional thinking. So from there you went to I am Atma Brahma, 3 words which come from the Mandukya Upanishad, Atharvana Veda. Now here they say it is a Upadeshatmaka. Now you have got, somebody has given you an Upadesha saying what? I am Atma Brahma. Your Atma which is there within, it is that Paramatma and Paramatma alone. That's all. So now after inquiring and knowing that, in Tattvamasi, you start getting this confidence. Oh, this Atma which is there and that Paramatma, both are one and the same. And then you move on to the 3rd Upanishad, which is the Prajnanam Brahma. This is known as, this is Lakshanartha. Lakshana means it indicates, which comes from the Aitariya Upanishad, Rig Veda. What does it say? Only 2 words, Prajnanam Brahma. This Prajnana, what you are seeing within yourself, that consciousness, what you feel. Even now when we are listening, we are in a meditative state. We are in a deep state of understanding. You know that you are conscious of everything. So this Mahavakya tells you that Prajnanam, this consciousness alone is Brahma. And then when you have gone to this state, finally you come to a state which is Aham Brahmasmi. This is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajurveda. Now this gives you the Anubhava, this gives you that experience. You are able to feel that. You know for a fact, you have digested, you have understood, you are convinced. You say, yes, this Jiva is Nashvara. And you are in that state where I know that this consciousness alone is that supreme power, and you move on from this Jivatva Bhava to that Bhava of Paramatma. Then why did the Upanishads talk about this, Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Stula, Sharira, Karana, Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti, Avesta? Why did the Upanishads and this Prakarana Grantha also talk about all this? That is only to make us understand, because that is what we know. It starts from what we know, what we understand, what we perceive. So from there it slowly started convincing us and telling us, you are not the body, you are not the prana, you are not the mind, you are not the intelligence. So this way it slowly started giving us that knowledge. So Jiva, who has got this, such an experience, who has understood in reality that consciousness alone is reality and the rest is all an appearance, such a person or such a situation in anybody's life is called moksha. That's all. This is freedom. You are freed, you are released from the shackles of this Jivatva Bhava. See, if you go to the initial state, when we started the Sadhana Chatushtaya, it started saying Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tatva Viveka Prakaram Vakshamyaha. Vakshamyaha means I will explain what? Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikarinam. A person is a true adhikari when he has got Sadhana Chatushtaya. Okay, you became an adhikari, an eligible candidate, an eligible sadhak, an eligible student. For what? Moksha sadhana bhutam means to gain liberation or to gain self-realization or to gain moksha, you became an eligible candidate. Tatva Viveka Prakaram. For that, what did you do? You started doing Tatva Viveka. So having got the sadhana chatushtaya, this adhikari, for the moksha sadhana, he used Tatva Viveka Prakara, method to discriminate, differentiate that aspect of Tattva. And what is that? That this Atma is different from the 3 bodies, Stula, Sukshma, Karana, this Atma is different from the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti Avastha, and this Atma is different from the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So, and once you do that, what happens? Tatva Bodha happens. You have got the wisdom of the Supreme, and this Tatva Bodha, you get moksha. So, Tatva Viveka leads to Tatva Bodha, and Tatva Bodha leads to moksha. So now we are on this last topic of moksha. I'll post this shloka for you and we'll take it forward. Who is a man of realization? Okay, now let's study this. Evam means thus. Cha Vedanta Vakyaihi Sadguru Upadeshena Cha Sarveshu Api Bhuteshu Yesham Brahma Buddhihi Utpanna Te Jeevan Muktah Ityartaha. Now what this says is Evam, thus, cha, and Vedanta Vakyaihi, meaning by the words of Vedanta, which is the crux of all the Upanishads and the scriptural teachings, Sadguru Upadeshena, here he says, with the help of a Sadguru, a teacher, who has by himself seen the subtle world. Sadguru means, Sat means good, and Guru who has experienced or who has been established in that knowledge, who has gone through the tradition from the Guru Parampara, and he has experienced. See, many a times what happens, why this is important? Firstly, why this has to be only told by a teacher? Why you can't do a self-study? Let's say, for example, now you read somewhere in a Shastra, and let's say you read a word, one has to meditate on Hari. Okay, you read this word. Now you go to the dictionary and you search what is the meaning of Hari. Now the meaning of Hari is monkey. And also the meaning of Hari is a frog. Now here what happens? You will say, oh, I have to meditate on a monkey. And imagine what will happen if you meditate on a monkey. But the true meaning here is Hari means snatch. And immediately, if you are not aware and if you go by the Shastra, you will say, oh, I read, one must meditate on Hari. You will, if you wrongly go into meditating a monkey or a frog, you will know where you stand. And the other aspect is, let's say you read this, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Supreme Brahman. One thing, it will give you arrogance. Or you will say, this is all nonsense, stupidity, and you will start demeaning the Shastras. So that's why these Shastras have a great amount of in-depth meaning. So to understand that, you need the help of a Guru. And that Guru who has had the knowledge, not only knowledge, but who has experienced this knowledge. So even Bhagavan Sri Rama went to a Gurukula, to Vashishta, Vishwamitra. Lord Krishna also went to Sandipini Vidyalaya with his teacher. And two important things, lineage. A guru has a student has a guru, and that guru has a guru, and thereby a guru, Dada Guru. This way, they come from a lineage. And second most important thing is you need to have the self-experience, which means you need to have the aparoksha jnana. Aparoksha jnana, there are three types of jnana. One is pratyaksha jnana. Pratyaksha jnana, where with your own eyes, your senses, you have seen something. Okay, that is pratyaksha. With my senses, I have seen it with my eyes. I have heard with my ears. I have tasted with my tongue. So this is pratyaksha, with your own senses. Then next comes paroksha jnana. Paroksha jnana is where I have heard from somebody that this person is good, he is reliable. So through somebody, that becomes paroksha jnana. But there is a third dimension which is known as aparoksha jnana. Aparoksha jnana is where you don't need any means of knowledge. You have that self-experience of that thing. Like if you have dealt with a person, you don't need to listen from others how that person is, because you have already dealt with him. You know that person. You have been with that person. That is that aparoksha jnana. So this aparoksha jnana, like a guru who has got this jnana. Say in your sadhana you are stuck somewhere where you are in that deep state where you are crossing your mind, your senses, and you are wanting to understand at depth what is happening, how to reach that aparoksha jnana state. So if a guru has had this experience, he will be able to tell you. But if the guru has not had these experiences, you are stuck. So our Swami Chinmayananda used to say, on the wings of the words, the knowledge of self travel into the heart, travel to enter into the heart of the student. On the wings of the words, the knowledge of the self travel to enter into the heart of the student. So if the knowledge of the self has to go on the wings of the words, the guru should have that knowledge of the self. He should be not only a Shrotriya, but also a Brahmanishta. Shrotriya is one who has gone through the Shastra, the Sampradaya. Fine. But he should also be a Brahmanishta, means one who himself is established in the knowledge of Brahman. Sadguru Upadeshena cha, by the teaching of the Sadguru, and Sarveshu api, in all, Bhuteshu, meaning beings, Yesham, whose Brahma Buddhihi, vision of truth, Utpanna, is born, they, such people, they, Jeevan Muktaha, are liberated while living, Ityartaha, this is what is meant. So Sarveshu api Bhuteshu, for the one who has awakened to this knowledge of himself being in all beings, who has the knowledge of oneness. How has this knowledge of oneness, let's say, is it possible to have that knowledge or have that experience that I am not just here but I am there everywhere? Is it possible? Only such persons are known as Jeevan Muktah api Bhuteshu, we are saying. Just look at your own dream. In your dream, you consider yourself to be different and you consider everybody else also to be different, isn't it? Somebody is coming to harm you. Now what do you do over there? You are thinking how I should fight him back. You are looking at each and everything as different in your dream. But what is the truth? That entire dream is you and you alone. So we make a mistake in understanding our own dream. In the same way also, in the waking state, I am that supreme consciousness. I am not this Jiva anymore. This particular Jeevan Muktah, he has moved from the Jivatva Bhava to the Paramatma Tattva Bhava in himself. And when he knows that this consciousness which is in me is that one supreme consciousness which has enveloped the entire creation. So where is me and other different here? As far as you consider yourself to be an individual, but once you get the knowledge of this Vedanta through the Guru, Sarveshu api bhuteshu, in all beings without an exception, be it the saint or a sinner, the noble or the ignoble, the good or the bad or the ugly, it doesn't matter. All of them, Brahma Buddhi Utpanna. He has that feelings of only Brahman everywhere. He'll forgive everybody. He'll not have any grudges, because he knows that the Tatva, the essence of everybody is that consciousness. And when he has detached himself from that Jiva Bhava, so he is established in that consciousness. Just like a goldsmith sees only gold, he is not carried away by the ornaments. So this person, for whom this kind of knowledge is there, he sees only Sarvam Brahmamayam. Such people are Jeevan Muktas, who see Brahman everywhere. Mukta means you are free. You don't have any sorrow or pain. While living, you are liberated, meaning you are mukta from this Jivatva Bhava. Where will this pain and sorrow go away then? Seeing Brahman everywhere, being established in that Jeevan Mukta state, you will be free from pain and sorrow. So now, how is the question? So therefore, now the student raises this question, and which is Nanu Jeevan Muktaha Kaha, which is explained in the next stanza. We'll take it up in the next class. Explain Jeevan Mukta Kaha. How is that? In what way is this person released himself from this Jiva Bhava? And releasing himself from the Jiva Bhava, when they say, when you're dead, then all the sorrow, anxiety, pain of this world, does it disturb anybody? No. When you die, you are gone. Nothing, anything, whatever you might have had over here, everything is falsity. They say, oh, this person passed away, end of all his miseries. Don't we say that? And it is the fact. So in the same way, when you are out of this Jiva Bhava, that's the end of all misery, pain, sorrow and anxiety. See, it may not happen at one go in a flash like this. Slowly it will start reducing, because your withdrawal also from the Jiva Bhava will not happen overnight. The more and more you meditate, the more and more you concentrate on I am not this body, I am not this. So in the next shloka he says, Nanu Jeevan Mukta Kaha. Explain to me, how did this Jeevan Mukta get to this state? So that we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer our humble salutations and sincere thanks to the Almighty and to the entire Guru Parampara. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat. Thank you everybody. So we'll have our Bhagavad Gita class on this coming Tuesday. Till then, keep doing your sadhana, your study, and receive the divine grace. Hari Om.